The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. There was a tweet that went viral that got all of our attentions, and I wanted to read it to you. It came from a guy named Ethan. Case, I don't know if this guy's anybody like a YouTuber or whatever, or just some dude.
I think he's just some dude.
Just some dude. But it got viewed 5 million times, and it came to the forefront in our mind of why do white people always have the weirdest names for their relatives and grandparents? What do you mean you're going to go see Oompa and Booger?
Oh, my gosh. That's awful.
Now, this made me instantly think of the conversation a couple weeks ago we had about your Aunt Booty, Kenzie.
Yes.
So people have a weird name for some relative out there. I can't remember why you said Aunt Booty got the name.
Everyone's like, aw, snap, Aunt Booty, but it's because of, like, the boots she used to wear, I guess. I didn't know her back in her baby days, but it was because of her shoes. But obviously, maybe booty wasn't popular slang back then. Now it means something completely different.
Not boots.
Not boots.
Oh, that's too bad. Because you said you haven't seen her in a long time anyway, so it'd be nice to see her.
No, she kind of like ran away with a bunch of cats. I haven't seen her in a while.
Oh, that's right. She was the cat lady. That's right.
Yeah. No, she's a good person.
Oh, sounds like it.
She's lived many lives. Many lives.
Maybe she steals the lives of them cats for herself.
Maybe she's harnessing their energy because she worked at the cat haven that Carol Baskins owned.
Oh my God.
She worked there. She's lived every time you bring a place up. She's like, I lived there. I'm like, I don't know how that's possible. How old are you? But she's lived everywhere. She specifically told a story about being at Woodstock and smoking weed with Chevy Chase. I heard that story. I mean, if you name a celebrity, she's like, oh, Phil? It's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? It's
what
just
a
like
flex.
weird.
What a flex on
It's
Chevy
just
Chase.
Weird, but she's not a flexer. Like, she's like, no social media, doesn't realize people are popular. She was like, well, when I was with Andre at blah, 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 and I'm like, who's Andre? She's like, 3,000. I'm like, what? She said that to me once. And she had this whole story. She's like, Andre. I'm like, who are you talking about? Where are you?
Well, that's Aunt Booty.
She's just nuts.
I want people to chime in on this at 312-591-8300 and call and explain some relative you have that has a name that you call them, and then why are they called that? Now we know Aunt Booty is not about the booty. It's about boots. And then
It's about boots, baby.
Meeting Andre 3000. It's funny, there were so many people in my family that were called uncle that weren't really uncles.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know, like,
what's what's like the Arabic word? Did you guys call them like
uncle?
So you didn't have like I figured your mom, like speaking fluently, like she would have called them something, or your dad.
Not uncles that I know of, but grandmother is, which now Harper calls her Situ. So she calls her Situ.
Yeah.
That's grandma. And then my dad would have been Jiddu.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's easy for a baby.
Yeah. Because they slur everything anyway. Yeah.
Like, I saw the best tweet once, and it was like, why does every Latin person have an aunt named Tia? And I thought that was so funny. It was just such an incredible tweet.
Well, we had an uncle who was Lebanese, but we called him Snaps.
Snaps?
Because when he walked, he went...
Hey, Snaps.
He always walked in snapping his fingers like, hey, Brian.
That's like a bar name.
Yeah, hey, what's going on?
Snaps.
Yeah, Snaps is here. He snapped everywhere. He could not walk without snapping.
That's odd.
So we called him Snaps. Not very Arabic. Snaps.
No.
Yeah.
What's the Arabic word for snaps?
No,
you guys, they
I don't know.
Nothing.
I could try to Google that, but snaps.
Snaps.
But I want you guys to chime in here at 312-591-8300. Like, you have some relative and they have a name. What do you call them, and then why? We'd love to hear you talk about it, too. Just check in with us. Call in.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Smashing Pumpkins, which will be at Wrigley Field with Green Day. It feels like it's coming up pretty soon. It's about now 2 months away, a little about in 2 months. It'll be the second week of August. After the Metallica show at Soldier Field, after Lollapalooza, boy, August, the first couple of weeks are going to be insane. Completely insane. Brian and Kenzie on Q101, we're talking about a tweet that went viral, and the exact tweet was worded like this. Why do white people always have the weirdest names for grandparents? What do you mean you're going to go see Oompa and Booger? Now, this also relates to relatives and non-white people. So people always have these weird names for some relative out there, and people are checking in on the text line. Michael checked in at 773. I have an uncle we grew up calling Uncle Chicken my whole life until he passed away. Apparently, he used to own a chicken farm in Texas, and I always thought it was because he just liked to eat only chicken, which he also liked to do.
Got it.
Good name.
We had another text that says my BF boyfriend in case, I don't want Brian to get confused, has an uncle Nipples.
Oh.
Because as a baby, he breastfed, I guess, for an extremely long time.
What's a long time? Like 16 years old?
I don't want to ask that part because I'm not sure. But that's insane. And I have to say, for me, I found something out like when I was a lot older. So I used to call my uncle Uncle Lee. Okay, I thought it was Lee, Uncle Lee. And I was so confused. And I was like significantly older. Like I had to be like 13. And I asked my dad, I go, why the hell do we call him Uncle Lee? His name's Eric. The whole time everyone was calling him Uncle E. I've been calling him Lee for years. I had no idea. I don't get why it's Lee, but okay. It was E.
Well, it's certainly no Uncle Nipples.
It's no Nipples. I'll give you that.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Chase, do you have any weird name for any relatives?
I do. I have two uncles, and I don't know the origins of these names. I've never really asked the question, but I have an uncle whose real name is Mike, but he goes by the name Uncle Bucky.
Oh.
I don't know why. He's not a cowboy. He's not bucking anything.
Right.
And then I have an uncle whose name is Jim, but he goes by the name Limo. Limo.
And nothing on that either?
I have no idea.
Can you text your family? Does that's where the names come from?
Maybe. I don't really text my family a lot.
Jeez.
Well, they should get right on that. They're going to think it's an emergency.
That's the thing. It's like I have to think about the way I want to send a text, I guess.
Well,
you have to think it through that much? They're related to you.
Here's the problem. You don't text these people back very much, it sounds like. Maybe that's just a misspelling on text where it finished autocorrect. It's not really, they don't go by those names. You never followed up and saying, why you call yourself Limo? You know what I mean?
It's weird. I wasn't even going to ask them directly. That would be like way too intimate for me. I was going to ask another family member why these family members are called that name.
No, be direct.
Oh, man, I can't
Just
do that
text
with
them
family.
right now.
He probably doesn't even have those numbers.
Yeah.
One of them I have.
Wow.
I don't have my uncle's phone number. Interesting.
Which one? Jimbo or Leroy?
Limbo or Emo?
Which one do you have?
Miguel's checking in from Lowell. Miguel, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? So my wife's middle daughter, when she was a toddler, was always grabbing the cats that they had running around the house all the time, and the cats hated it, but she would grab a hold of them so tight, she would grab hold handfuls of fur when they would get away. And so her nickname, till now, she's 30, Furball.
Furball. Cats must have been terrified around there.
Of fur.
I'd call her a terrorist. Jeez.
Oh, yeah. Until the cat passed away, every time she saw her, she would, hiss at her, and even when she was older, it was like, hiss at her, and don't come near me.
Don't come near me.
Poor cat died bald like those cats that don't have hair. You ever seen those cats out there?
Hairless cat?
Yeah.
Hairless,
Yeah, the hairless ones.
Some call them hairless.
I thought there was some kind of name for that kind of cat without hair.
I think they're like Sphinx cats or something.
Yeah, they're creepy looking.
Very judgy.
Well, they're scary. They're just scary. I like cats. They're just scary.
Alopecia, they can't help that. It's like Jada Pinkett Smith.
Keep my cat's name out your mouth.
I'm going to. All right, Christian's checking in from Bartlett. What's up, man?
Hello, guys. Ahoy. Love you. Love the show.
Right on.
I love you back.
And so we're talking about relatives you have weird names for and why. Go ahead.
So it's my grandma. We always call her Mima, but you take a step further, and everybody would call her Squeaky. And apparently when she was a kid, she wouldn't cry. She would squeak. But later on, one of her brothers, when we were at a family gathering, said, nah, it's because she farted too much.
Wait,
so everybody always calls her Squeaky. But that's mine.
Is she still with us, Squeaky?
Yes, she is. She's currently in West Virginia, so I always travel out to see her, do a duo combo of wrestling, and then go see Mima. So she is still with us, and she is still called Squeaky.
Still out there squeaking away. Squeakerton.
What's wrestling like in West Virginia? Is that what you're going to see out there?
Well, whether I'm announcing or actually wrestling, I love the crowds. They still believe in it, and a crowd that believes in pro wrestling, that's the best crowd there is.
Oh, you're going to be like Uncle Slams or something.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101. So we're talking about a relative you have a name for and then why they're called that. And it can be a friend and some people out here. Ness checked in, one of our first-time texters. Thanks for joining the party. Ness from 773 says, I have a cousin named Diego, but when we were younger, we would call him Ego because it was easier to say. And now his nephews and nieces call him Uncle Waffle.
I love that. That's adorable.
That's a story that somebody will tell like 60 years from now. Tell me the story about Uncle Waffle and how we got there. Oh, that's so funny.
Eric texted in and said we had two roommates, both named Scott, so we called one Scotto, and then then he finally said, "Just call me effing Scott." So now we call him FS. And I self-bleeped myself, in case you're wondering.
Good job. It was
Thank
very
you.
impressive.
Well, thank you. Very mature.
Thank you.
You can keep these coming. We'll probably put it up on Facebook. Let the conversation continue there. It's Brian and Kenzie on Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Time for sports. Brought to you by the Marquee Network. Stream Cubs baseball at watchmarquee.com.
The Q101 Morning Crew. Sports.
And hopefully you were streaming it last night for the Crosstown Series. White Sox Cubs at Wrigley Field. Monster rain delay. This game had everything. White Sox up 5-0. 5-0 in the fourth. And then the rain delay came. And what happens with rain delays in the Cubs? They usually come back and they win.
We win, baby.
Well, at least there's two examples of that. There's the World Series.
That's all you need.
The World Series and last night.
Yep.
I'm sensing a behavior pattern here.
2 times in 130 years it's happened. But Patrick Wisdom pinch hit, came in, and ties the game when they got up 3-5 at that point.
In the air, center field. Robert back, looking, gone!
Hell yeah!
And we are tied!
That tied it up. And then the White Sox said, hell nah. And the first time from Lewis Robert Jr. since April getting back in the lineup, and he showed what he's worth.
This one, a deep shot out to left. Adios! La Pantera is back on the prowl!
And then he said, respect, walk. La Pantera.
What do you say?
Is Lewis Robert Jr. opening for Metallica on that Friday night show at Soldier Field?
That's what I heard. He's the new dime bag.
But then that wasn't enough. No. They go up by 1, but then Ian Happ comes in with the go-ahead RBI 2 runs come in to win the game.
The 1-0. Drilled right field. And that's trouble. It rolls all the way to the wall. Here comes Bellinger. Here comes Morrell. Christopher to the plate. He's in. And the Cubs have the lead. Ian Happ delivers. It's 7-6 in the bottom of the 8th.
All this with Shoto Imanaga on the hill, and he pitched terribly. Like that, it's amazing that this game ended up like it did after how it started.
Don't talk about him like that.
He just pitched bad.
Shut time, baby.
I love him. He's incredible.
I love him, so just keep Shota's name out of your mouth.
I'm going to. I want him to move into my guest room. I love that guy.
I love him.
I want him in my house all the time.
Oh, it is delightful.
I want to put him in my pocket.
Yeah.
I just want to
No
carry him
slander
around.
will be tolerated at any time. Shota and Arby's. I will not stand for it. Those are my two big things.
Well, Shoto likes Duncan, so
I
he
know.
goes to Duncan.
I know. Me too.
Yeah,
as
like
we
my
all
Kenzie
know.
does too.
Yeah, I see him there.
That's all he does.
I don't know if any other White Sox fans feel this way, but I've been watching baseball my entire life. I've specifically been watching bad White Sox teams for most of my life. There's something different with this team, something I've never experienced before, which is no matter how big the lead is, no matter how late in the game it is, I never believe this team is going to win. Last night they were up 5-0, and I thought, well, this is a Cubs ball game. I mean, they are in this. They're lock, stock, and barrel. Watch the Northsiders come back. And that's exactly what happened. There is a level of doom and dread and despair with these White Sox that I have never experienced before.
Well, Case, maybe you're manifesting other teams to win because you feel that way every time.
I might be. I might secretly be manifesting for the Mariners and the Cubs and the Brewers and whoever else.
You can't do that.
I guess not. I don't know. I just never believe. It doesn't matter if they're up 5, if they're up 6, if they're up double digits. I always think like, no, they don't have this one.
That's just stinking thinking, mister. You can't do that. Look what happens. Nothing good. Huh? Well, for you. I mean, it worked out really good for me.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. Lauren's coming in, take it to the rest of this kind of gloomy day out there. Takeaways. Wow, a lot of stuff's come in from today's show. A lot of memorable moments from you guys at 312-591-8300. Text in your takeaway. Case, which one you got?
Oh, boy. Jesse and Albany Park checked in. They said, Jesus tastes delicious like Cinnabutter.
Well, his body would obviously be the upper echelon. That's all I'm
right,
saying.
that's right.
Oh, my God.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Go ahead, Kenzie. What do you got?
Double
Which one you
features,
got?
Mike. Takeaway. Keep Bucky, Limo, Nipples, Aunt Booty, and Andre 3000's name out your mouth.
This might be the most poignant one of the day from Adam in the 317. Checked in. Takeaway. The fact that we have words for everything is a bunch of crap. Oh, man, we love you guys. So many good ones coming in last minute here, so we appreciate you. The real thing is you can hear all these conversations and stuff we didn't get to on the podcast. What do you got, Case?
All of that. Kinsey complaining that there's too many words in the world. That is on the 6 a.m. podcast this morning. We talked about Alec Baldwin's new reality show and how his rude little pig of a daughter might make an appearance there.
Right?
How Jesus tastes like Cinnabutter. And R. Kelly shockingly made it into today's sports report. If you go back to the Brian and Kinsey podcast, you'll never believe how the Cubs and White Sox game led us to more R. Kelly breakdowns.
And Bill Cosby also made an appearance.
Oh, man, what a day.
You miss a moment, you do miss a lot. The Brian and Kenzie podcast available anywhere you get your podcasts, like Apple, Spotify, Q101.com.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.